Hello, students. Welcome to yet another biology class, and the class is SS2. So, we are still on aquatic habitats. Let us look at the previous knowledge of our last class. In our last class, we talked about marine habitats. We also talked about definition of marine habitat, characteristics of marine habitats. We also discussed the major zones of marine habitat as well as food chain of the marine habitats. As I told you before, that aquatic habitat is divided into three: the marine habitat, which is also known as the saltwater habitat, the estuarine habitat, which is also known as the brackish habitat, and you have the freshwater habitat. So today we are taking on the next one, which is the estuarine habitat. Estuarine habitat. Before we move on, let us highlight or know the objectives of this class. At the end of the class, the learners should be able to define estuarine habitats, name and explain types of estuarine habitats, states the characteristics of estuarine habitats. Look at the content. The word estuary is derived from the Latin word estuarium, which means tidal inlets of the sea. Tidal inlets of the sea. Therefore, estuarine habitat is a body of water formed as a result of the action of tides, which mixes salt water from the sea with fresh water on the land. The mixture of salt water and fresh water results in the formation of brackish water. When salt water mixed with the fresh water, that particular mixture, that formation is called the brackish water because it's a mixture of salts and fresh water. So that's the meaning of brackish water. Let us move on. Let us look at the types of estuarine habitat. Types of estuarine habitat. Estuarine habitat is found in the following body of water. One, we have delta. Delta is where a river divides into many channels before entering into the ocean or sea. When you see a river that divides itself into many channels, when it divides itself into many channels, there is a particular location is going to meet up with a sea water or an ocean. So when they mix and the ocean water mixes with the fresh water, the river water which is the fresh water that is coming, and they form what we called brackish water. So that water will no longer be fresh. Neither will the other one will be salty. They form another water body which is called estuarine or brackish water. So let us look at number two, lagoon. This is a body of water. This is a body of ocean water that enters into the land through a canal. It's a body of water that enters into the land through a canal. So the the opportunity of the opportunity of mixing with fresh water from rivers and streams is as a result of the lagoon. In all the lagoons you have seen around Lagos State is as a result of some water that breaks out of the sea, breaks out of an ocean and enters into the land and form a canal. So those water you have seen around Lagos is a lagoon that is formed from an ocean or from a sea. So that is where we have a lagoon. If you happen to test that lagoon water, you see that it will be salty a little and also be fresh a little. It will not be totally be salty because it has mixed up with the fresh water. So bay, the next one is bay. Let us look at bay. Bay is a little or small portion of the seawater which enters into the land and mixes up with fresh water. Let us take it again. A bay is a little or small portion of the seawater which enters into the land and mixes up with the fresh water. In this bay it does not form through canal. It just enter and remain there. Now, the difference between a bay and a lagoon is that a lagoon is bigger than a bay and it may be long enough to join the sea at another end, while bay is very small and not long enough to rejoin the sea in another end. So if you trace the lagoon, you discover that it will join the ocean again, join the sea again. But in the case of bay is not long enough to rejoin the ocean or the sea. So these are the types of estuarine habitat: the delta, the lagoon, and the bay. These are the types of estuarine habitat. Now let us look at the characteristics of estuarine habitat. Characteristics of estuarine habitat. Number one, we have fluctuation in salinity. Fluctuation in salinity. Salinity is lower at the mouth of a river and gets higher towards the sea. Salinity is also affected by season. While rainy season reduces salinity due to addition of fresh water, dry season increases it. As rain is falling like this, you discover that the taste of a lagoon will be a little bit freshy compared to when it is dry season. Sorry, when it is dry season, there will be no water mixing up. It will just be it will be different from the one we have now because the rain is falling. So fluctuation in salinity, at times will be salty, at times will be freshy. It is not constant. That is fluctuation of salinity. We have another one. It has high level of turbidity. It has high level of turbidity. Turbidity of estuarine habitat increases especially during the rainy season when lots of debris are brought down by rivers to the habitat. This high turbidity also reduces the rate of photosynthetic activities. So the turbidity we are talking about, turbidity, I don't know if you can remember. I told you about turbidity. When you see some grasses, leaves, some sticks, all the dirt that will fill up the lagoon. That is what we call turbidity. So it has high level of turbidity. You can see that our canal can never be clean apart from the human debris, human dirt that put in maybe like container and all that thing. Lagoon itself can never be clean, can never be neat because it has a high level of turbidity. We see some grasses will grow, some will be dead and just be filled up the lagoon. So it has high level of turbidity. Now the third one, it's always shallow. Okay, it is always shallow. Lagoon is always shallow. 2 weeks ago, around my area, the policeman chased a particular boy that he said they stole some money from a particular shop, and the boy ran into the canal. And the canal stopped the boy just a little bit above the waist. In the middle of the canal, they stopped a little above the waist. The police could not enter. So, therefore these canals are not deep. They are very, very shallow. The police could not enter. The boy could not come out. That's how the boy just escaped from the policemen. So he knew that that canal is not deep. So canal are not always deep. That is, estuarine water body are not always deep. So it is always shallow. The next one is it has low species of diversity. It has low species of diversity, meaning that different species of animals are very low. Animals like lobsters, oysters, crabs, fishes, etc. are low compared to marine habitat where we have the very myriads of fishes, myriads of animals, myriads of aquatic lives there. But in the case of estuarine, it is very low. Now let us look at the next one. The water is affected by tides. Remember what tide is? The alternate rise and fall of the water level. The alternate rise and fall of the water level. So estuarine water is controlled or is being affected by this tide action. When the water is full, so that the water will come out, will flow into the land, and it will form an estuarine water body. So is the water is affected by tides. So those are the characteristics of estuarine water habitat. Now let us look at the food chain in estuarine habitat. A typical food chain in estuarine habitat may have up to 3 or 4 trophic level. Some examples of the food chain are the Titus. The Titus, I told you, like from the word debris, all the dirt, all the grasses, all the tiny grasses, the leaves, and all of those ones, they will be eaten up by worms. Then snails will now eat up the worms, and birds will eat up the snails. So these are the 4 trophic level. Talking about the third trophic level, which is B, diatoms. Diatoms are the tiny organisms, very tiny. You cannot even see with the naked eye. Then the shrimps will eat up the diatoms, and fishes will eat up the shrimps. These are the 3 trophic level. So your assignment is going to be, you are going to explain the distribution of plants and animals in estuarine habitat. Explain the distribution of plants and animals in estuarine habitat. You are going to submit it to my email, which is henrysunday240@yahoo.com, or to my WhatsApp number 08062558129. Stay safe and remain blessed.